Hi everybody, Nick McDonald speaking. Thanks for joining us once again for ICE commentary this week and looking on this video at the US equity markets. Last week we were here just around the 800 level, in fact just slightly below, and looking for a rejection and a bounce off it. We actually got an ever so slight rejection the next day, and then we had this big down day here where we fell down and we came down towards 780. In fact, we touched 780 and that's where we bounced off. Now, I'd identified that if we did break down, I thought the furthest we'd fall would be down towards this kind of 765 to 750 region. As it happens, we didn't even fall that far, which really just continues to show considerable strength. After breaking down through 800, we got back up through it with relative ease. This does now put us, coming up to some resistance up here. It's that little bit more daunting after we've had such a fall off it. So we rallied up, we came up and tested it, and then we've fallen off it. And I've never really discussed this as any kind of major resistance in the past, but it is certainly more significant now up around 830 here, simply because we do have multiple touches and we've got recent touches here as well. I think we'll get through it, and the reason I think we'll get through it is because we have that agreement from higher time frames. The weekly chart looks particularly strong here. As I said, when we pull back, it's just normal. Trends have to pull back. People start to panic when these bigger pullbacks happen, say on weekly and monthly charts, but they have to occur for any uptrend to sustain itself. So we moved away. We've now had a nice pullback into the moving average. It's good. It's healthy. It actually sets the Russell up nicely for a bigger move on now. Certainly a push up through 830, I think, is easily on the cards, and 850 is obviously the key test. Let's just come and have a look at the monthly chart, and this is just continues to be as strong, hasn't really changed. Particularly bullish now, and another bullish candle this month, and potential for it to end considerably stronger than what it is right now. Let's just quickly have a look at the other indices, because the other indices, the Dow and the S&P, have also had pullbacks into their averages. Looking here at the Dow, nice run up, pullback just touched the averages. Notice that the Russell came a little bit further into it. Dow just touched, moving on and looking bullish. Daily chart hardly even pulling back too far beyond the averages, as it were. But notice here, even on the way up, it's actually an interesting contrast. Look at the daily chart here on the Dow, where it pulls right into its 10 and 20, then right into its 10 and 20, and then here it pulls right into its 10 and 20 again. But this time it pulls back beyond it. When it pulls back beyond, this is where people start to think, well, we're really starting to change direction here. Actually, we're just pulling back for the first time into the 10 and 20 region on the weekly chart. So it's nothing to panic about. But we do still, at some stage, have this bigger pullback we need. And it might not be anytime soon. In fact, I don't expect it to be. But we will need a bigger pullback like we had back through here. A bigger pullback into the monthly averages. I think that could be a few months away yet. But let's just quickly look at the S&P as well. And you'll see the S&P very similar to the Dow, just had a nice run up, pullback just ever so slightly above the averages, but pullback in very bullish and rallied off again. It's actually the Nasdaq which is the one, it's certainly the strongest out there, but it's also the one now most due a pullback because it hasn't even had its weekly pullback. Notice this was only really just the first half decent daily pullback, pulling back towards the extremity, the lower region of that moving average zone, back towards the lower end of the 20, and then rallying again. But the weekly chart nowhere near it, and the monthly chart very overextended as well. So Nasdaq is certainly the leader of the pack. However, the most in need of a pullback to really sustain this move longer term. So where does this leave us for the Russell? Well, actually the Russell's had the best pullback of them all. It's had a really good healthy pullback back into the middle of those weekly moving averages and right back to the 50 period moving average on the daily. It's come right back to a big resistance level of 800 and it's come right back up through it strongly. There is a bit of resistance in the way, but it looks particularly strong. We've got trend agreement from the daily chart to the weekly chart to the monthly chart, which puts us in a really good position, and I am very bullish on the Russell, and I think that we will be getting up and testing, as I've said in other videos as well, but I think we'll be getting up and testing 850 very soon, and then we'll see how we look beyond that. It will be a little bit of a combination of what the Russell looks like as and when it gets there, how it responds when it gets there, and also how the other indices are doing as it gets there. But I don't expect it to offer any major resistance, and I do expect in the next few months minimum we'll see price up through there, potentially even in the next few weeks. Hope that helps everybody. Happy trading this week. Have a fantastic week, and I'll speak to you on next week's video.